They told us Judas was the traitor, the man who sold the Son of God for 30 pieces of silver. But what if that was never the full story? What if Judas didn't betray Jesus out of greed, but out of obedience? Because hidden beneath the sands of Africa, an ancient gospel has surfaced, and its words could rewrite the Bible itself. This is the lost Gospel of Judas. It was 1978. A farmer in Egypt unearthed a sealed leather book near El Minya. Inside, fragile papyrus sheets written in a language few could read. For years it vanished, traded on the black market, hidden in vaults, until scholars finally opened it. And what they found was a gospel that no one had ever preached. A gospel written in the name of Judas Iscariot. In it, Judas is not cursed, he is chosen. The text says Jesus revealed secret knowledge to Judas alone, truths too dangerous for the other disciples. It claims Judas didn't betray Christ, he set him free. Jesus tells him, "You will exceed them all, for you will sacrifice the man that clothes me." Meaning, Judas's act was not treason, it was divine duty. And if that's true, then the greatest sinner in history might have been the most faithful disciple of all. But here's what the world forgets. The oldest copies of this gospel were not found in Rome or Jerusalem, but in Africa. In the mountains of Ethiopia, monks have preserved strange writings for centuries, scrolls banned by the early church. Among them, whispers of the book of the one who loved Jesus too much. Could the Gospel of Judas have lived in Africa long before scholars rediscovered it? Could Africa, once again, be the keeper of the truths the world tried to erase? The early church called these writings heresy. They said Gnostic believers, secret Christians of the first century, had twisted the gospel with forbidden knowledge. To them, Jesus was not just man, but light trapped in flesh. And Judas was the only one brave enough to release that light. The church called it blasphemy. They burned the scrolls. They erased the names of those who believed. But some of those believers fled south into the heart of Africa, carrying the truth with them. Because Africa has always guarded the secrets heaven left behind. This lost text paints Jesus unlike any we've ever known, a being who laughs at prayer, who speaks of other realms, and warns Judas that the world's rulers are blind gods, not the true creator. It describes cosmic war, a battle not for nations, but for knowledge. And in the middle of it stands Judas, not as traitor, but as the key. The one who dares to finish the mission no one else could. If this is true, then salvation didn't come in spite of Judas. It came because of him. When this text finally reached scholars in 2006, the Vatican called it false teaching. But quietly, they confirmed the papyrus was authentic. And then it disappeared again. The original document was sealed away, locked in a private vault, off limits to the public. Why? Why bury something that could be disproved easily, unless its truth was too dangerous to debate? Maybe the Gospel of Judas wasn't meant to be destroyed. Maybe it was meant to be rediscovered when the world was ready to question everything. Across Ethiopia and Sudan, there are still rumors of hidden gospels, scrolls buried in the sands, sealed with ancient crosses. Locals call them the writings of the twin. Some say they contained lost dialogues between Jesus and Judas, prophecies of the final age, and warnings about humanity's return to forbidden knowledge. And what if they're right? What if these Gospels were never lost, only waiting for the moment when their truth would matter most? The Gospel of Judas ends with one haunting image: Judas walking alone under the stars, smiling as soldiers march towards him. Because he knows what the others don't, that in the language of heaven, betrayal was salvation's beginning. So what if the one we condemned was the one chosen to fulfill prophecy? What if Judas's name was never meant to be cursed, but remembered as the man who unlocked divinity itself? Would you still see him as the villain, or the key to everything we were never meant to know? Africa remembers. Its deserts hold the bones of forgotten truth, and maybe beneath the dust, the rest of Judas's story still waits to be found. Because Enoch once said, "In the last days the hidden things shall be revealed." And perhaps this revelation is only the beginning. If this story made you question everything, then you're exactly where you need to be. They told us Judas was the traitor, the man who sold the Son of God for 30 pieces of silver. But what if that was never the full story? What if Judas didn't betray Jesus